Well, I guess it's safe to say flipping the narrative when it comes to politics is something politicians will always do. And I say that because AJ had an interview with Sky Sport where the host, instead of focusing on the real life issues that's taking place all over the world, she wanted to talk about politics, which we all for it, which we're going to talk about. However, she created illusion instead of talking about the real issues and blaming it on the culture and the religion. So instead of getting informed on the culture, they turned to culture vultures. How y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Pieces and blessings upon all my Akhis and all my sisters out there. Welcome to Akhi TV. If you want to be part of the family, feel free to subscribe below. If you're trying to get smarter by the minute, if you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't. And listen to these casual fans / old media / the biased politicians. Now, Anthony Joshua had an interview on Sky Sport, and I wasn't too familiar with the personalities that was doing the interview with AJ, so we're going to address them as them. So that being said, let's get straight to it. Now, a little warning, this is the truth and nothing but the truth. So if you are allergic to the truth, then this definitely going to hurt your eardrum. So like I said, if you can't handle the truth and you're allergic to it, then be my guest and exit this video. Now that that's out the way, let's talk about it. AJ, he dodged bullets during that interview that I'm referring to, which I'm going to leave in the description box below. So check out the source before y'all watch this video, so y'all kind of have an idea or two on what I'm talking about, because I'm basically countering everything that they were bringing up because I believe it wasn't coming from a sincere place. On the other hand, AJ, he did a perfect job answering the questions because he wasn't falling for the traps that they left for him. He dodged them bullets. Like I said, if his defense, or if he could dodge Deontay Wilder punches the same way he was dodging them questions, he could even possibly be the Deontay Wilder, because obviously we all know Deontay Wilder got that bazooka. And when it came to the interview, AJ, he dodged them bazookas because the hosts that was interviewing AJ, they were supposed to talk to him about boxing. However, they started asking him some political questions, and AJ is not too informed on that, or he possibly is, he just didn't want to talk about it. And we could talk about politics all y'all want. However, I don't like to get into politics too much, because if you think boxing is corrupted, then you don't know nothing about politics. So it's funny to me how the host was trying to act like they want to address real life issues and the politics and this and that, when in fact they want to create illusion. And we're going to talk about everything. And to be honest, I mean, it was so much misinformation that I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to start with this. First of all, if you want to talk about politics in Saudi Arabia and question AJ on why he fought in Saudi Arabia, is it just because of money? Did you not know the politics that's going on in Saudi Arabia, this and that? And first of all, I'm going to say this, just to make it clear. Now, let me paint a perfect picture for y'all. The host first asked AJ, Saudi Arabia want to bring light to the country and show that they are good people, this and that, and that's why they hosted the fight over there. And it's actually more deeper than that. Saudi Arabia relies on oil. They don't have no income coming in. So if the oil does go away one day, which eventually it will, a long time from now, right? Then they have no income coming in. So they want people to travel to the country, and that makes the country money as well. So, like I said, it's more deeper than that. However, for every house that's a bathroom, and I told y'all that on Split Decision. So you can't judge every Saudi Arabian person the same. Every Saudi is not a bad person. For every house, there's a bathroom. And that goes for every household. We have a family member that makes the whole family look bad. There's always that one person in every state, in every country, that makes the country almost look bad. In every race, that make the race look bad. But we're not going to blame the whole race for one person action. However, they do that in the United States all the time. So, like I said, we're not gonna blame the whole race or the whole country for the action of certain people. So since that's out the way, let's focus on the real issue at hand. Now, like I said, she asked him how come he fought in Saudi Arabia. Is it because of money? Is money everything to you? Trying to make AJ look bad. However, last time I checked, I didn't hear anybody ask AJ how come he came to fight in the US because Black Lives Matter, right? I didn't hear anybody bring that up to him. And instead, we all know in the US, they started the All Life Matter movement to counter that. Which the whole reason Black Lives Matter got created is because the injustice that's taking place in the US. So when you say all life matter, duh, that's what are we saying? The only reason they called it Black Lives Matter is because it's happening to black people in the US. So the whole purpose of calling it Black Lives Matter is to bring awareness to it. I mean, no ish, all life matter. That's why the Black Matter movement started. And like I said, I don't hear nobody bring that up to AJ when he came to the US. But when he goes to Saudi Arabia, now they want to bring that up. But if they focused on the real issue at hand, then I'm all for it. Because I even talked about it on Split Decision, which I'm going to touch on it a little bit in this video. But like I said, they ignored the real issues that's happening in Saudi Arabia. However, they want to talk about the religion and the culture. Why are you worried about the culture and the religion? Which we're going to get into it. So in Saudi Arabia, for example, obviously I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from New York. My family from Yemen. And 20 million people supposed to die by the end of the year due to hunger, due to war that the politicians want to ignore, and they want to cover her up and throw some bait and talk about things that don't really matter, like culture and religion, when they should be focusing on the real issues at hand. It's like Tupac said, they got money for war but can't feed the poor. So she didn't bring up the fact that, hey, Yemen is their neighbor, is a Muslim country. They a Muslim country. As a Muslim, you're supposed to help out your brother from another mother. And instead of sending them food or money, they sending them missiles. They started a war with Yemen, right? And that's almost in every Muslim country because of all these dictators that's trying to take over and be kings instead of a president for 7 years, right? So instead of focusing on the real issues, she created illusion and talk about the politic and religion aspect and culture aspect, which we could care less. Why are you talking about religion and culture? That's something that you can never take away from us. Talk about the real issue at hand, which I'm about to do. I'm gonna show you how you supposed to do your job. So like I said, for example, I'm from Brooklyn. I was born in Brooklyn. So I'm a US citizen, right? Now, as a Saudi Arabian, if you're born in the country, you don't gotta work. The country pays for you. That's why it's impossible to become a citizen, because if you were born on that land and you a Saudi Arabian, you good for your whole life because you spoiled in a way because you don't gotta work. The government sends you payments monthly. So when immigrants go to the country, they have to get co-signed by a Saudi Arabian person in order to live in the country, or at least legally. So the co-signing deal is 50% of your revenue go to your co-signer, I believe. And then if the co-signer don't like you, they kick you out of the country. And that's a real issue because a lot of Yemenis struggle with that. And a lot of different people from different countries from all over the world struggle with that. So she didn't bring that up because, like I said, in the US, a lot of people think we are doing bad. However, we're doing better than most because somebody as an immigrant could come to the country and could become a citizen after a lot of years and could have almost the same rights as I do, except of becoming a president, right? So Like I said, Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, there's not too many rights for immigrants. And I talked about that on Split Decisions. So that's the real life crisis that's taking place. That's the real issue if you want to focus on that. Don't talk about the culture and the women not being able to work out in the gym the same place men work out, because you don't understand the culture. You don't understand the religion. And like AJ responded, it's a lack of education, but it's more so a lack of religion, because a lot of people want to judge, but a lot of people are not trying to take the time out of their day to understand what's happening. Like I said, at the end of the day, she want to talk about the culture and religion. So let's talk about it. But before I do so, I must address the reason I sound a little heated is because it's very offensive to a person that's religious like I am and that holds the culture and still live up to the culture and go by the culture to this day. When you hear things like this, it's very offensive. And that's why AJ stated, if you're going to talk about certain things, certain issues that's going on in a certain country, bring a person from that country and let them talk about it. If you're going to make a documentary about something, bring somebody from that country and get his perspective. Because if you're not doing that, then obviously that documentary is biased, or that opinion is biased, because there's always two sides to every story. So as far as the cultural aspect of it, you got to keep in mind, nobody's judging her for her culture. I don't know what kind of culture she has. I don't know if she even has a culture. However, regardless of that, the point remains. Don't attack the culture or religion. And if you want to talk about why women can't work out in the same place as men, is out of respect. We all know, and we all not going to pretend like when you see a female with yoga pants in the gym or in the street, but I say in the gym because she stayed in the gym, and obviously when females go to the gym, their workout clothes is most likely yoga pants. Everybody peeps, almost everybody. So if you have a wife, it's not called being insecure, it's called having respect, and your wife carrying herself like a female should. So in the United States in particular, I believe last time I checked, the divorce rate was 70% or 80% almost. It's probably even higher than that. However, in Muslim countries, it's 5%. And there's a reason. So you can't tell me we're not doing something right when it comes to that. You can't convince me that the US is doing something right when they having 70 to 80% divorce rate, which that's ridiculous. And that's an understatement. Because to have that high of a divorce rate, how you think them kids gonna grow up while their parents are divorced? Picture that. You don't think about the youth? And that's the whole thing about her bringing up culture and not understanding the religion and not understanding the bond of a marriage and what it takes to have a successful marriage and have kids and take care of them. Is a lot that goes into it. Like I said, we are alphas at the end of the day as far as men, or most of us are. So I'm not trying to say we the man of the house, but we wear the pants in the house. So when your wife needs something, of course you're going to provide it. So when your wife go outside, you want your wife to represent herself well and look well in front of the public. And the only reason I say that is because you don't want your wife to carry herself how she want to be treated. If you carry yourself with respect, you will receive respect. If you carry yourself and throw a certain image out there, that's what you're going to get right back. For example, if a person is looking like they single, looking like they ready to mingle, next thing you know, 20 men trying to holler. Next thing you know, almost everybody looking. So you carry yourself how you want to be treated. And don't get me wrong, females could do whatever they want. Obviously in the US, I don't got to tell them that. But like I said, as a Muslim, it's more deeper than that. is even if you're not married, because obviously if you're married, it's the end of the story. I mean, you're not gonna want your wife to go out looking like she's single. I mean, if you want that on your conscience, that's on you. However, as far as women that's not even married, as a Muslim, she's supposed to carry herself the same way. Because like I said, at the end of the day, it's part of the religion, even in Christianity. But like I said, people are falling from religion. And that's due to social media and society nowadays. And iPhones and phones and the way you access, seeing people doing better than you, not seeing people or the million people that's struggling in war or starving to death. And that's things that social media doesn't show you. So you wanting more and doing less with all the opportunities in front of you. So like I said, don't criticize the religion and the culture, because that's what kept us together. And that's why the marriage, the bond of the marriage is stronger than a lot of people's because of that. And you even have a guy like Canelo, when he went to Saudi to watch Ruiz, his countryman, fight, when he brought his wife with him, or his fiance, she was wearing a scarf on her head. It was like a little hijab, but the point is, she respected the culture. And all the respect for Canelo and his fiance. I got all the respect for them for that. They didn't have to do that. She could have did whatever she wanted to do. She could have looked however she wanted to look. But she presented herself well in the environment she in. So my point is this: you got to respect people culture. You got to respect people religion, especially that, because that's a line you do not cross. I mean, as a Muslim, for the people that don't know, as a Muslim, a man can marry any woman, regardless of her race. She could be alien, as far as I know, as long as she believes in one God. She could be a Christian, whatever, as long as she believes in one God. That's the only rule. However, on the other hand, as a Muslim, a female only can marry a Muslim man. Regardless of his race, regardless of his color, he has to be Muslim. If you ask why, it's because we all know men are alphas at the end of the day. Women will change her way to basically fit in, regardless of what y'all might say. A woman most likely will change her ways for her husband. The husband wouldn't do the same. It doesn't work the other way around. And just to let it be known, for some decals before they come through and try to say this and that, this is not the culture. That's the religion. So have some respect. And at the end of the day, when the marriage rate is 95%, almost as high as Deontay Wilder knockout percentage, then apparently it's the right path. So just to let it be known for the people that's lacking a little of education, because we live in this society where it's more about entertainment than education. The difference between religion and education is religion is your belief. You believe in God and God's message. That's God's message, which we're not going to disagree at all on, right? And we're just going to talk about you respecting people's rights. And as far as the culture, on the other hand, you got to keep in mind, that's the tradition. That's actually people wearing certain clothes, holidays, marriages. For example, in my culture, we celebrate for 3 days when it comes to marriage. As far as religion, that's the fact that, hey, you don't have sex with a female till you get married, and vice versa. So when she talks about, and I'm referring to the host, as far as the females, hey, they can't be in the gym with male, whatever the case might be, that's more so the religion, if she don't realize that. And like I said, as far as the marriage and not having sex till you get married, I believe that's in Christianity too. You could correct me on that in particular if I'm wrong. However, that's on the individual in particular. But don't turn around and criticize the person that's doing what they supposed to do. Like I said, ain't nobody's perfect. But at the end of the day, we starve for perfection. So if somebody is trying to be perfect and he fears God and you're not the same way, Don't judge that person for the effort he making and the fact that he believing in God or their culture or sticking by it. Like I said time and time again, if you don't have no culture, then that's on you. But you got to respect people culture. You got to respect Asian people culture, African people culture, Middle Eastern culture, Ukrainian cultures, and all cultures. You have to respect people's rights and their belief and their background, like I said, because this is deeper than that. So if you're going to talk about politics, talk about it. If you want to talk about the injustice that's taking place all over the world, we could talk about it. If you want to talk about Black Lives Matter, we could talk about it, but don't be a culture vulture. And that's what she ended up being, because she want to act like she want to bring up real issues. However, what issues she really brought up? She didn't bring up none of the co-signing deal that's taking place in Saudi Arabia. She didn't bring up the fact that Saudi Arabia want to stay rising while the countries surrounding them stay falling for some reason, and they choose to go to war instead of feeding the poor. They choose to invite Donald Trump. We all know Donald Trump is a billionaire and they can't give him money directly. So what they do, because his daughter touches the land, they gave her $100 million. Meanwhile, their neighbor country have 20 million people that's supposed to die by the end of the year. Focus on the real life issues, like I stated. And there's a lot of points to bring up. So that's why we need a Muhammad Ali of our time, because Muhammad Ali is too real for this industry. I mean, he was around the time racism was so strong in the US, and he stood up for his people. I mean, the man was a comedian, he was a politician, he was well-spoken, he was a fighter with a bigger heart than most of the fighters today. I mean, we got Deontay Wilder today that's living up to Muhammad Ali. Obviously, Deontay Wilder, he stands up for his people, he back his people, and I respect that and I support that. Now, AJ, on the other hand, I believe the UK, from what I heard, there isn't much racism like it is here in the US. So obviously he don't say much. He try to dodge as much as he can. However, obviously we wish that we had a Deontay Wilder in the UK or even a Muhammad Ali. I mean, can you picture that? But like I said time and time again, you know, it all comes down to race. They want to act like racism don't exist. And it exists in every part of the world. In the US and almost every part of the world. But like I said, yeah, racism plays in effect. But as far as the female in particular, like I said, she made an issue on something that's not even an issue. That's the solution. Like religion and culture, that's what keep people together. She trying to separate people almost. Focus on the real issue at hand. So I'm going to leave it at that. And like I always say, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't. And listen to these casual fans / politicians or whatever you want to call it. Click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post to go live on Sunday on Split Decision. Y'all don't want to miss the live debate between me and Professor Nim, so tune in. Obviously, God only made a couple things perfect. That's Floyd Mayweather boxing record, and that's me on Split Decision. So shout out to my Akhi family. If you want to be part of the family, subscribe below. If you want to debate, called Split Decision, and we could debate, we could agree to disagree, and you could get schooled and get taken to the Akhi University, where hopefully one day y'all will graduate and become hardcore boxing fans. So for the best boxing content, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute, like I stated. And y'all know the rest. If you know, you know. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace, and we outie.